Hey everyone, welcome to Therapy with Ari. This is a channel where we explore the mind, the heart, and everything in between. I'm your host, Ari. Now, if you're someone who wants to have more connection in your life, whether that's through having closer friendships, a more intimate relationship, or just feeling less alone, then this video series is for you. Today's episode is going to be part one of a three-part series that focuses on helping you understand how to increase your attractiveness and desirability within relationships. I've come up with three important traits that I recommend you work on in order to have a much easier time getting along with people in general and with the opposite sex more specifically. In episode one, we're going to focus on a trait that I've simply called openness. I'll discuss what I mean by openness, what I don't mean, and I'll also discuss a few simple ways that you can develop this trait so it genuinely boosts both your self-confidence and your attractiveness without feeling like you're forcing it or being performative. Make sure to tune into episodes 2 and 3 to find out what the other two important traits are. But for now, let's talk about openness. All right, so first let's start off by defining what I mean when I'm talking about openness. Openness is just the willingness and ability to be honest about your feelings. It's to not be afraid of showing parts of your emotional world to others when it's appropriate. And it's letting yourself be influenced by other people's words and emotions. It means being emotionally available instead of being closed off and accepting the risks that inherently come with this way of being. It's actually one of the most important traits that you can develop to increase your emotional attractiveness. It's the willingness to say something honest and true without demanding a specific outcome from the other person. And it's an important pillar in developing real intimacy and connection. What I don't mean when I discuss openness is a sort of no-filter state where you broadcast your emotions too freely. Sometimes when people start learning about the importance of vulnerability, they start performing it. I'm sure you've watched someone deliver an extremely inappropriate and hurtful comment under the guise of just being honest or talking about their trauma too openly with relative strangers. Rather than being open, this kind of behavior can come across as more self-involved or attention-seeking, and that's definitely not emotionally attractive. Openness is about honesty, but it's also about restraint. It's not about blurting something out just because it's true, it's about offering it in a way that invites connection. If you don't have a well-developed emotional understanding that's an essential part of openness, you won't be able to tell when and with who to be more open. Let's talk about reasons why people might choose to not approach life openly. I mean, it sounds pretty simple, doesn't it? Just be more open. But when we're talking about relationships, people are often closed off from other people because, well, they've been hurt in the past. Being open is not all sunshine and rainbows. It comes with its own risks. Maybe in the past, you've been made fun of for being too sensitive. Sensitivity is a form of emotional expression, and many people learn to shut that part of themselves off super early in life. Maybe you learned that expressing your needs leads to rejection. These experiences push people to develop protective strategies. They become stoic, overly independent, or they start to intellectualize their feelings. They say, I'm fine, before they've even had a chance to ask themselves how they actually feel. And the thing is, those strategies work to a point. They protect you, but they also keep people at a distance. Many of you can probably relate to what I'm talking about here. And in the face of having been hurt in the past, some of you may have chosen to put up your guards or close yourselves off from other people. When you're closed off, other people don't get the chance to hurt you. You feel safe in a certain sense, but this safety comes at a cost, and that cost is connection. So, to be open, you have to accept some risks. The risk of getting hurt, the risk of being cheated on or lied to, the risk of being manipulated, and so on. These kinds of risks are just an inherent part of anything valuable, and you have to learn to accept these risks and live with them without becoming bitter or cynical if you want to increase your chances of living a fulfilling life. The other thing that you might realize when you begin to experiment with this idea of openness is that it's very closely related to your sense of self-confidence and self-worth. The reason is simple. If you're not confident that your feelings are valuable, then how will you feel confident being open about them with other people? Again, this doesn't mean that everyone else is going to agree that your feelings are valuable. It just means that a certain level of self-confidence is the minimum requirement for being open. It's important to recognize that real openness is not about manipulating the other person into giving you validation. It's about offering something of yourself freely and then seeing what happens. This requires a lot of self-reflection and a certain amount of brutal honesty with yourself, which is a topic that I'm going to cover in another video in the future. So hit like and subscribe to see that content as soon as it comes out. So, what does openness actually look like in a day-to-day interaction? It might sound something like, I've been feeling kind of off lately, but I haven't figured out fully why. Or, I noticed I was feeling a bit anxious when I didn't hear back from you, probably because I started making up stories about what it meant. These aren't dramatic confessions. They're simple, grounded, and emotionally honest, and they're not designed to elicit validation. They invite the other person in to your emotional world, not by demanding a response, but by creating space for a conversation that's real and it's about something that's vulnerable. So if you want to cultivate more openness in your life, the first step is to turn inward. Start noticing what's happening inside of you, not just your thoughts, but your feelings, your physical sensations, and your emotional patterns as well. Get curious about your reactions. Learn to name what's going on with more nuance. This is what people mean when they talk about self-awareness. And then, once you feel comfortable with that, practice sharing it gently, selectively, and with people who've earned your trust. You don't have to start with the deepest stuff. Start small. Share something mildly uncomfortable or vulnerable, and then notice how it feels to let someone see you like that. This kind of practice builds courage and discernment, two things openness absolutely requires. If you do this well, you build a foundation of trust where others can rely on you to tell them what's going on inside of you, which will help them feel more comfortable to share their feelings with you. So, to wrap up, we all want to be seen, but being seen requires us to take a risk and show something real of ourselves. Openness is the bridge between your inner world and the people who want to know you. It doesn't mean giving it all away. It means offering something honest, even if it's small, and being willing to tolerate the uncertainty that comes with that. It's vulnerable, but it's also incredibly powerful because when you show up openly, it makes it safer for others to do the same. That's how connection starts. And that, in my view, is deeply attractive and the basis for any healthy and long lasting relationship. So I hope you've enjoyed part one of this three-part series. Please hit like and subscribe, as I'm sure you all know that it helps out a channel like this one immensely. And make sure to tune into part two of this series, where we talk about the next most important trait in increasing your attractiveness: positivity and happiness.